Hi, and welcome to Looks Good From Here, the show where we talk to designers, educators, and creative thinkers shaping what the web looks like and what it really takes to get there. I am Hannah from SquareKicker, and in each episode, we go beyond the scroll to uncover the stories, decisions, and messy middle behind the beautiful work. Today, I am chatting with Joseph Membré, a standout Squarespace designer and founder of Square Designs, a Paris-based creative studio known for its bold, expressive design style. Joseph leads a growing team of designers and developers creating high-functioning websites that feel both fresh and refined. In this episode, we're going to dig into how Joseph finds inspiration, how he keeps his design work feeling original, and what it is like to lead a high-performing team while staying hands-on with the creative process. We're also going to talk about selling templates, setting a creative standard, and the importance of staying curious. Let's get into it. Welcome, Joseph. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Hannah. What a nice introduction from you. That's really nice.
We only tell the truth here, and we bring on the best people to chat to.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining me. I know it's your morning and my evening, so we're getting the freshness of you and the end of the day of me, but I am really excited to have this conversation with you. We have certainly been very inspired by your work here at SquareKicker and always love the websites that you and your team produce.
Thank you very much. It's been actually such a pleasure to be doing this and this journey and working on these templates. It was really an amazing, interesting process, really.
Yeah, fun to break out of the client work and do something different for a while. I'm really interested in how you got started in design. Like, what's the origin story of you as a designer? Maybe how you came across Squarespace and kind of where you're at now with your design studio.
I discovered Squarespace in 2012. And I think it was Squarespace 6 at the time. I was not my own employer at the time. I was employed as a salesperson. So I was not into the designer area or the web design or anything at the time. But I worked for a startup company which was selling apps for Salesforce, Salesforce, CRM. Yeah. And so I was in charge of sales, but I've always personally been very interested in design and good brands. And that's always been my passion. I didn't know it at the time, but that's what led me into web in general. And we had to create a website for this little company. And my the business owner, my superior, was like, okay, look into Squarespace. Maybe that's interesting. So I looked into it and I found it so easy to create a website using Squarespace 6 at the time. And it was a surprise for me that I didn't know these tools existed. And so it was a pleasure to do it. And then this startup company grew really fast. We were only 3. After 1 year, we were 18. And I really got to be a part of the process, really, because I was hand in hand with the owner to help him develop his business. And it worked really well. And it got me into, that disease of, or it's not the word.
I think it might be the word.
of being an owner, a business owner. And so I wanted to launch my own company. And so I started with a very good friend of mine. We started a first creative company, but I was to be the business owner, the business developer guy, and he was going to be the creative. And we worked together, and I learned so much in the process, and I learned creative stuff as well. I looked into many websites, and I'm a self-taught web designer since then. So I've been doing some of the creative work, and that got me into this. A few years later, we split, but I continued working as a freelancer. And so I've been working as a freelancer since 2014, 2015.
My goodness, you've been at it for a while.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Amazing.
And
Congratulations.
so now we're a small team, but it's been a long time of just me as a freelancer, helping my clients to create their online presence. And It's always been well, I've tried as much as possible to start from the brand and create
Uh-huh.
the logo, the brand identity, and then continue on with the website. So I'm not just a web developer or web designer, but I really help in the process of creating the brand and setting up a nice brand identity.
Mm. Oh, that sounds amazing. You have been at it for a while. What does the company look like now? Because you've got a bit of a team with you. Can you give us like
Yeah,
an idea of kind of your size and
yeah, it's a small size. We're not like on purpose. I don't want to be a big agency because I don't want
yeah.
to be a person manager. I still want to have my hands into the work, and I really want to
Mm.
do things myself. So we're a small team of three, sometimes four when
Nice.
there is a um, how is it, how do you say that? A student who comes to
Oh yeah,
do
like an intern.
um, an intern, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And we are actually in the process of recruiting someone right now,
Oh,
which
cool.
who will come in September as the first business developer with me.
Oh
So
yeah.
for now, the team is composed of me, two other creatives who are graphic designers first. And I would like to talk more about that later, about the recruitment process and everything. But it's mostly designers, and I'm running the operations. So I'm working on finding new clients,
Mm.
doing the accountancy, and many things, to be honest. So it's like
All the
a
fun things that
of
keep
a
a business running, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's it's hard to do everything. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to build up the team, but only as fast as I have to.
Mhm.
I don't want to have a big team. I don't think we'll ever be 50. And that's not the goal. The goal is
Mhm.
to stay a small team. As you can probably see, we're in a small office. So,
Yeah.
we don't want to move. We like to be a small size. Yeah.
I think that's really smart to understand what you want out of a business. Like, you don't just want to be in a position where you're managing people and actually
Mm.
kind of sticking to that and being really intentional about how you build that. I think that's really admirable, the way that you've kind of thought that through. You've obviously talked about kind of your team, and you've got those graphic designers that you've brought in. And if anyone has looked at your website or your portfolio, if you haven't, make sure you look at the show notes, go click on Joseph's website to look at his portfolio, because your work is stunning and the quality that your team produces is so high. And I know that's a fear that we hear from a lot of designers when they bring other people into their team, particularly if they are really precious about producing, really beautifully creative work. How do they maintain that kind of high level? How do they maintain creative control of what goes out? What does that look
Mhm.
like for you in your team? How do you kind of make sure that you're always hitting that mark?
Yeah. So we're constantly looking for new stuff, to be honest. We're always looking at what the trends are and what the web looks like. We're trying to have a good picture of this and what the design looks like, because it's not only the web, but it's more that the graphic design that we have to look into. And so I'm going to give some a little bit of references here. We
Mm.
look at probably many people who are watching this show will know about this, but we look at Behance. Um,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
Behance. It is like the social network for designers
Hmm.
to show and showcase their work. And so we look into this quite often to see what people are doing, and it keeps us having fresh ideas. And a reference point into what good design looks like. And it's very easy to see and find good stuff on there because it shows up with a number of likes. So the
Right.
most liked projects, if you go into the web design section, you will see very beautiful websites. And so
Hmm.
helps us to the okay, oh, that's really great. We love this design. How could we do this with Squarespace? Because sometimes
Yeah.
it's not very easy to do it. Like Squarespace is great. It's a great tool, but everyone knows that sometimes it can be a little bit limiting compared
Hmm.
to developing everything from scratch. and especially in terms of animations. And that's why we love SquareKicker, and
Uh,
that's why we love discovering SquareKicker a few years ago. When you guys started, I think we we were we were some pioneers, especially
yeah,
at
pretty
least in
early in with
France.
us.
In France, we were early adopters of SquareKicker.
You
So
certainly make the most of the tools. We love seeing what you produce.
yeah, and you have great ideas because every time a tool comes out, we're like, oh wow, this is exactly what we've been missing.
Oh,
This is what
great.
we were frustrated with, and so we feel that like you guys have been in our shoes before, and that's really what makes your
Yeah.
tool really great.
It definitely helps, doesn't it,
Um,
when you understand as a designer what other designers are looking for. Yeah.
yep. Also, there's another website that everyone knows. I think, I hope everyone knows. It's called Awards.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that's a website where you can really find the best stuff that's out there. And
Mm,
many of the things that we can't even approach, we can't even do yet, but it keeps us having fresh ideas.
hmm
And I do tell my team to have a time before they start in the morning to get some inspiration. Don't work
hmm
right now. Like we start at 9 a.m. and when they come in, they don't have to work right away. They should, and they're invited, sorry, to take half an hour. So it's a little bit of time, half an hour, to look at what's online, be inspired, and make sure that um, they get some refreshed ideas of design. And for this, we have another little tool. Maybe I can share real quick something.
Yeah, go for it.
I think every designer should have this. It's an extension called Designer Daily Reports.
Cool.
And every time you open your browser for the first time, like a Google Chrome browser, this comes up. And there's a little daily report. So you're not submerged with too many things, but you have the
Mhm.
font of the day, portfolio of the day, palette of the day, branding of the day. And these things, we look at it every morning and we're like, okay, oh wow, that's a cool use of this font, or that's a cool portfolio, that's a cool animation. Let's keep this idea. And so Designer Daily Report, small little tool, free and easy to use, and it just pops up, so it's you don't even have to think about it. So
Mm,
that's a good little idea.
that's really cool. What a great tip. I really love that kind of forward thinking attitude that you've got for maintaining the creativity in your business. Like you don't just stumble across it, or when you hit a bit of a block with, your ideas, you kind of stumble into these websites. And I know I found myself doing that where I'm like, oh, I need an idea. I'm going to go and do all this research, but you've actually
Mhm.
like baked it into the way that your day works. I think that's so forward thinking and how you set up your day. I love that.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. Thanks.
That is very cool. You are
Cool.
obviously based in France. Are most of
Yep.
your clients also based kind of locally around you, or are you working with companies across the globe? What's kind of your makeup of your clients?
I would say 80 to 85% French clients,
Cool.
but they're not specifically local to where we are based. We're based in the west part of France. Like everyone knows that the France looks like a t-shirt. We're on the west sleeve of the t-shirt
The
of
wrist
France.
sleeve.
That's where we are.
Excellent.
Um,
That's a great description.
and so we live near the coast.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we don't have clients specifically from our area. We have clients from all over France because we have a good SEO on Squarespace specialists, and
Uh-huh.
so people find us because they want to find a Squarespace specialist to help them go to the next step with their Squarespace website, or do a refresh of their website, or even they've heard of Squarespace, but they really want to have a higher standard of a web design, so they hire us for this.
Mm.
Um, we sometimes have customers from overseas, but it's not very often from another continent. It's mostly, maybe I'd say, the countries around us, like Swiss, Switzerland, sorry, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
a few other
No,
countries around there.
that makes sense. That's awesome. We certainly feel like we're hearing a lot more going on in the Squarespace world, kind of around France, and I think it seems to be picking up a bit of popularity over your way. So that's really cool to see people like yourself serving that really well. You mentioned before that you don't just do the websites, you're kind of looking at the whole process. You do a bit of branding work. I know in your portfolio, you've even talked about naming the company sometimes. What does
Mhm.
your process look like when a client comes to you? I know it will be different for every client, but can you give us a little snippet of what your process looks like from the moment they kind of enter your inbox to when you actually pass that work off?
Yeah. Well, first of all, before we haven't even signed anything with the customer, we use a CRM because that's what,
Mhm.
I told about the background before when I was a salesperson in the CRM world. Well, I'm not using Salesforce because it's too big of a tool for us, a small company, and we want something light and easy to use. We
Mhm.
found something called Folk. Folk is a French company which makes a CRM really great. I think it's based on Notion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's the Notion, you know, the feel of Notion. You
Uh-huh.
see what I
Uh-huh.
mean when it's very
Yeah.
light to use and the tool is very easy and snappy. Well, it's the same
Uh-huh.
thing, but it's like a Trello. It's a board where you push your
Like
contact
a
from.
Kanban board, I think they call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we have some contacts that we call the wish list to Father Christmas, Santa Claus,
Yeah.
avant the name. So the people that we love to work with, and
Yeah.
up until we have signed the contract. So we work like this before. So we're obviously in touch with the customer, and we really are listening to what they want to do, and we give some advice as well. Once we have a contract signed, we take a client brief, and that's very important. I know it's obvious for many people. We have to take a brief, but I want to mention it because without a brief, it's like a boat without a sail. You don't know where to go. Like
Yeah.
you go anywhere. So we need to know what the expectations of the customer are, and sometimes the expectations of the customer, many times, are much lower than what we aim to do, what we want to
Yeah.
do. So that's something that we sometimes have a little struggle with, is that we put some standards very high, but sometimes the customer doesn't appreciate the level of detail or design that we want to do.
Hmm.
And so we do efforts sometimes for kind of for nothing. So, or it's not for nothing because we always want to push good design, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard because the customer doesn't always look for this or is not always expecting this.
Hmm.
And so so when we do a website, I'll go back a little bit before. So most of the time we try to um, come up with a global project. So we want to do the logo, the brand assets of the logo, and also all that applied to as many things as possible because we believe that a good brand has to be consistent across all the different media. And so
Hmm.
it might be a business card, it might be the car signage,
Oh, yeah.
the
Sure.
signs on the car, and even the interior design of the company. So sometimes we work with businesses across all these little things, and
Wow.
then the website comes at the end. But it also happens that people have their own logo, and we can't touch it, and that's okay. That's not a problem. We're not going to be mad at the customer if they don't want us to change the logo, but that's, to be honest, the best work we pull out is when we are able to touch everything because we
Mm.
believe that we are um, how do you call that in English, um, artistic directors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we work as artistic directors, so we try to help our customers into many things and not just one specific part. And so
Amazing.
so when we're in the process of working on a website, we always start with a homepage, and sometimes only a little section of the homepage. We want to make sure that the artistic direction of the of the page works well with what the customer expects. If we work on too many pages right from the bat and then tell the customer, how do you like it? Sometimes we might have to go back and do many changes. So we really make sure that the orientation is going to work. And one thing that really has been working well for us this past year, and that's one of an initiative from one of the people from my company, is to do a Pinterest board of a mood board. That's, I think that's the English word. We say the same in French, so it's a mood board. And the mood board helps the customer to see what's out there and what we could do for them. And so we take good examples of websites that we found on Pinterest, on Behance, etc., and we create a PDF with, okay, this is what we think could look good with your brand. This is the colors, these are the fonts, and these are the types of layouts that we like. And we share this mood board. And if the customer likes it, then we're almost, 99% sure that it's going to be love at first sight for the website that we create for them.
It's like doing that work up front, even though it takes time, saves you time later on because the client's on the same page and you're not having to go back to do those revisions. Brilliant. Yeah.
We have cleared the expectations. They know that this is what we're going for. And so that really helps very much. And then so for the process, really wanted to share a little bit of the tools that we use. We use Notion to keep track of the progress. Notion is great because we can also share that with the customer, and they can put some inputs into the back and forth returns. We also use WhatsApp because we've tried many tools. We've tried Slack. We've tried so many tools. But some of our customers here in France they're not too keen on technology, and so they don't always have this tool. They won't use it because they'll keep going back to emails. And we're allergic to emails here at Square Design. We don't like it. We don't like having. It's slow and everything is mixed up into one bunch of things. So we found that using WhatsApp is great because everyone has WhatsApp, and they're much more snappy to reply. Like, we have a question: do you prefer with rounded borders or do you prefer with square borders? Okay, we send a screenshot on WhatsApp and we have the reply 2 minutes later because it's on our phone.
Simple is just the smartest, right? Like you said, everyone's got it. It's fast to get that answer. Brilliant. Yeah.
And they have no questions about like how do we install WhatsApp or etc.
Yeah.
So it's so much quicker. So we do a WhatsApp group with every client, and with some groups we've kept them for 5 years, and we go back to it. The customer sends us a message on WhatsApp. We have some subscriptions sometimes with some customers for maintenance on their website. That's quite rare, but it happens, and that's something I'd like to talk about later. Also, is our process. We have something changing here in the business model.
Cool.
But yeah, so we have some subscriptions with some customers, and when they request us to do a change on their website, they contact us on that same WhatsApp group.
Right. Yeah. So they're not searching back through all the emails trying to find who to talk to. They just got that WhatsApp right there. That's brilliant.
Yep.
You kind of touched then on that. Sometimes you have retainer clients. Sometimes the work is finished and you just pass them off. Do you have like set packages for your retainers? Most of them, are you just keen to kind of sign off the project and finish it? What does that end process look like for you?
Yeah, so that's something we've been struggling with, and I don't know if it's the same for all the people doing Squarespace websites, because we've kind of been working on our own here, and I'd like to I'd like to connect with people to know what they're doing here, but because Squarespace is so easy to use, we found it difficult to have retainer clients. Because so we charge a forfeit, a set amount for creating a website for our customers. And usually when it's done, we hand we hand off the keys to the website, and they take care of it. Because one advantage of Squarespace is you can do it yourself, no problem.
Yeah.
You can, if the customer is into building houses, whenever they have a new project, they can put the new project up because we've already done the design of the page, so they can just duplicate and do it.
Mm,
Uh, and uh, so that's been a struggle for us because the business is kind of I don't know how to say it.
right. Like
It's
sometimes you
in
have lots of clients, sometimes you don't have as many. It goes up and down a lot. Yeah, it's a pretty
exactly
common issue.
it, and it's an issue because when, like, for example, I'm going to give a clear example. This
Oh,
last March, we've had probably the best month we've ever done as a team.
awesome.
We've had a great month. We've had so many projects, and we've been working on so many projects at the same time,
Uh,
um, that I haven't had 1 minute to do prospection,
uh,
looking for new customers. I've not had any time at all. And so because of this, it's like a ship. The next month, I know I'm going to struggle because we've
yeah.
been working so much. Now we have to find new customers, and so we do have customers coming in because of the SEO and the efforts, but we also have to do the quotations and everything. So
Mhm.
it's a process that's difficult, and it's difficult to have
Balance.
a vision of what's ahead. I don't know if it's the same for other designers, but we don't know 6 months in advance what we're going to work on. So because the customers don't want to wait 6 months to have their website done,
Uh,
it's not a thing here, at least in France. So we only know a few months ahead, and it's can be a struggle. So we're working on something new. I don't know if I should share it now or
oh
later.
yeah, we would love to hear what you're working on.
But we're working on a subscription service,
Cool.
where our customers are not paying for the design, the
Okay.
creation process of the website, and but they're paying for a subscription where they have access to us maintaining the website whenever they want to. So
Hmm.
let's say we've done the website, they pay for the subscription, and so whenever they have a change to do, we take care of that change. We make it, and so we maintain the high standard level of design. We make sure that there's not anything broken on the site, and we maintain this all the time. And they only have one thing to pay. It's our subscription. So
Hmm.
we will take care of the Squarespace subscription, the domain name, and all the plugins and different things. Maybe the SquareKicker plugin that we put on the site. So that's something that we want to implement, and it's quite new. I'd like to share maybe on my screen, and so that's our website here. That's the homepage of Square Design website. Can you
So
see it?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
And so we have a little new here called Square Plus.
Very cool.
And so Square Plus, so obviously most of the people who are going to watch this are not going to understand because it's in French so far. But this is the designer website uh, by subscription. So it's a
Hmm.
subscription service. And so we've based it on Square because our name is Square Design. So of course it's still Square.
I love it.
Um, and we offer different formulas or different
Oh.
plans. And so there is a flex formula, which is very new here in France, at least. It doesn't exist. It's without any, how do you call that? You're not engaged with the subscription, so
Right, like
you
no
can opt out.
contract.
There's no contract, exactly.
Yeah,
As long
yeah.
as you're paying, you have your website up and running. Of course, if you want to stop, that's okay. But the Flex formula is based on a Squarespace template because we need to be quick to do
Mhm.
this website. So we're not going to do a whole website from scratch, from the beginning, from a blank template. We're going to use a Squarespace template on that formula because we need
Mhm.
to be obviously quite quick to do a website. Because if the customer were to stop after a few months, we don't want to have spent weeks and weeks on creating their website. So it's still going to be a good looking website, but it's great for people who don't want to take any risk or are unsure about their business, but they still want to do a website. And then the other formulas, the other plans, sorry, are signature, S, M, and L. S, M, and L, depending on the website size and the number of pages. But here they are subscribing for a 24-month period of time. Yeah, so it's not too long. Obviously, everyone should keep their website for at least 2 years, otherwise there's a problem.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I think
yeah,
the average, I looked it up once, is about 5 years for people refreshing their site.
yeah,
So on average, people kind of change their
yeah.
website every 5 years, which surprised me at the time, actually, how frequently people do need to
It is.
redo and
Yeah,
refresh this version of themselves. But this looks like a brilliant option. So I guess the problem you're trying to solve here, if I'm understanding it correctly, is two things. One is for your studio, it gives you a little bit of consistency with your income. And the
yeah,
second
yeah, yeah.
is you're offering a much more affordable version of a website for your clients. Is that kind of the two
Exactly.
driving factors
Yeah,
behind creating this?
that's exactly it. Of course, many businesses don't have a few thousand euros to spend when they're building their website. They're starting their company, sorry, and so they're unsure of this, and so if they don't have the funds, it's okay. We'll do the website, the web design, and it's going to be a subscription service. Also, we found out that many of our customers don't have the time to refresh their website or change
Yeah.
anything. So we create a website design, and 3 years later, nothing has changed. It's still
Uh,
exactly the same as when we've designed it. So we found this very sad. And when we discussed with our customers, they're like, "Yeah, well, I don't have time. I don't have time to turn my hand around. I'm always in my work, etc."
right.
So
They're busy with
uh,
their
it,
business.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, they're busy with their business. And for us, it takes a few seconds because sometimes making a change, we're so used to using Squarespace. It's okay. It's going to be very quick for us. So yeah. And the little plus, the little difference, and I'm going to be done with it afterwards. It's just that if the customer renews their engagement with us a second time, after 48 months, we systematically do a site refresh always, even if the customer
Oh,
doesn't like it,
cool.
doesn't request for it. So after 4 years, they get a free refresh of their website. So it's like a car lease. You always have the nicest car. Well, it's the same here. You always have the nicest looking website with the latest trends in web design. So that's what we wanted to do. So if they keep with us after 4 years, every 4 years we do the refresh.
Joseph, this is such a cool idea. I can see how amazingly appealing that would be for a business to come to you and be like, I don't have time for this. I've got high standards on my business. I want my website to look, that high quality, but I don't have time to
Yeah.
maintain it. And you're essentially their like web partner. You are like partnering with their business long term. That's very cool.
Well, thank you. We hope it's gonna work. It's in we released the page yesterday, really, and so it's
Amazing.
we're in the process of launching this offer. Obviously, it's we're gonna target our customers and the French customers, but we speak English, so we can work with anyone across the globe, of course, no problem.
Yeah. Incredible. Congratulations on launching that. It's such a creative idea. I'm so excited to
Thanks.
see where it goes. I look forward to having some updates. You
Yep.
are also selling templates with SquareKicker, and I know like this is a kind of why SquareKicker decided to build this template product out was these kind of conversations with people that were
Yeah.
using
Mhm.
SquareKicker, and we talked to our designers and we're like, what do you guys need next? And the thing that we heard so often was like, we need some consistency with our income. We need some way of making a version of passive income. And we figured the best way we could answer that is to create some software around templates. And you are one of the amazing designers in our template source selling beautiful templates. They are phenomenal.
Thank you.
Every time one comes in, I'm like, oh, what has Joseph got in store for us next? But I'm interested in like what that experience has been like for you, what it's been like kind of designing websites that aren't necessarily restricted by a client? What's it been like to approach that and selling a product in that vision?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. First of all, when we heard about SquareKicker template, sorry, we were so stoked, so excited because we love you guys. We love your product, and we love the way that you do things. Like every time you do something, it's very refined and polished, and it works well. And so we've trusted your company before you launched SquareKicker templates. And so obviously when you launched SquareKicker templates, we were like, okay, this is going to be the best way of doing templates. We watched your introduction to the approach because I gotta say it's quite innovative way of offering templates for designers, because once I'm just going to put it out there for people that maybe watch this and don't know, but
Yeah.
once you've created the template, the SquareKicker team takes care of everything else. So of course they take a commission, but you don't have to worry about anything like after sales, making sure that you send the link and everything. They've taken care of all of this, and so it makes the process so much easier. We only had to work on the creative process, so the design, and so when we've heard about this, I think we made it a strategic decision in our company to make this a part of our business. This really was a thought process. We discussed it together, and we're like, okay, if we're going to go into this, we're going to go fully into it. And we started, and I showed you Hannah before, on Notion, we started to list a number of, I would say maybe personas, but at least sector or activities that we would create a template on. And so we found many areas, many businesses that we could do a template on. And so we displayed all of this. We made some thoughts. We already created a structure of page types. So if we're going to do a car type templates, these are going to be the pages that a car mechanic needs usually. And so we did this for all the templates, and we had this ready even before starting any template creation. And we also had the names of the businesses because, as you know, we love branding and we love creating brands. And so we had a lot of fun because I could tell my team, you know, guys, we're not going to have a customer there telling us that this logo is too simple or it's not explicit enough of their business, or you can do whatever you want. It's free. It's you're going to be free to do whatever you want. And so that was also very refreshing to not have a customer telling us that this is too modern or to this or to that. We could do
some
really
creative
how
freedom.
we intended. Yep. And also because it's not a real business, we didn't really have to look into, does the name already exist? Is there already a company with this? It's all, it's all for the sake of the template. So we could create and come up with the names that we wanted. So that was really inspiring and really fun for us to do this. So we always started with a logo, as if the business had an existence, create the logo. For example, Smash Club. This is one of our templates. So we create a little logo, and we imagined if that was a tennis club, creating their own website with their courses and everything. And we did this with all the different activities. And then so after that, when the tools came out, we started to work on this. I remember it was last summer. It actually fell into a right spot for us because it was a time when in summer in France, many people go on vacation. And so we don't have that many clients or that much work to do. And so we're like, okay, we have some free time. So let's work on some development first, because we really call that a development. We work on some things that are not going to bring money right away, of course, but we work on it, and it's going to be for the long term. And so, yeah, we created, I think, almost 10 templates during the summer. We
Oh,
were
and
three
they're
of
all
us
so
work.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I couldn't
We
believe
were
it. I
three of
remember
us
talking
working
to
on the
you and you
templates.
said like, yeah, we've set aside days to create templates. I'm like, that is amazing. We felt so honored.
But I think that's the only way, because if you put this if you don't set a time to do a template,
Mhm.
it's not gonna happen. We always have things to do. We always have customers and stuff, and so yeah, of course, we got lucky to have this time in the summer. But now, if we want to create a new template, we have to make space for it. We have to set up a time and say, okay, we're gonna put this and this day and work on the template, because it's really, yeah, the time doesn't free itself up, so to say.
No.
It's
I
not
keep
magic.
waiting for that in my life. I keep waiting for like the moment where time just appears, but apparently it does not.
Nope, that doesn't happen in life.
That's so cool. If
Yep.
any designers are watching this, make sure you go over to the store and check out Joseph's templates. They are really beautiful, and you can actually click into any of the templates and then see all of the ones created by designers. So we've tried to make it so that it is really designer focused, so you can see everything that is in kind of the Square Designs store. You touched on it before, but I just kind of wanted to briefly mention it again about this concept of starting with a template, even as a professional designer. Every now and then you have a customer that can't afford, to do a full custom build, or you need something that gets out the door faster. And I think that's where these kind of templates can be such a good resource, because you can produce this beautifully high quality website that someone like you has gone and been able to put all that intentional time into, but it's so much faster and it's so much more affordable, and you can
Oh
produce
yeah,
that for your client at a really affordable cost. So I think there's
yeah.
lots of exciting potential there.
I really think that someone who takes one of the templates that you have in the store can create their website in a matter of a few days, if not a few hours. Because if you have really picked the template that has the pages that you need, it's just a matter of changing the images and changing the text. All the design, all the animations, everything is already there for you. So it's a time saver for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, brilliant. That is, I feel like you have just poured so much value into this conversation. You mentioned before, like right at the start of this conversation, you'd kind of talked about your hiring process a little bit and what it's been like to build that team out. Have you got
Mhm.
any more valuable insights for us on that piece?
Yes, yes. That's something I'd like to talk about. I really thought that's something that we have managed to do quite well.
Mm,
In So first of all, I need to say that when you're building a small team, recruitment is key. It's much more important than anything else that you think it is. It is so important.
mm,
If you end up, sorry, with the wrong person in your team, it could harm your company very much. But at the
mm,
same time, if you find a golden gem of a person who really is out there and works and has um, it really works well, then it's going to change so many things. It's going to change so many things. So we made it a priority, or at least I made it, because I'm the only recruitment guy here. uh, I made it a
The
priority
royal
to.
we. Yeah.
Yeah, we sounds like we're a big company, but it's not true. We're a small team. So I made it a priority to really make sure that I find people that are going to be in the right mindset, and especially I wanted to hire trained eyes and not tech
Mm,
experts, and that's
mhm.
something that's key to me.
Oof,
Um,
that's
I
so good.
can I can uh, I can teach someone how to use Squarespace in a matter
Mm,
of a few days. No problems
mm,
at all. Everyone, it's not hard at all. But I cannot train their eye to see what looks good and
mhm,
from what is not trendy in terms of web design, like a good font or not a good font, etc. That's much
mm,
more difficult. So when I hire people, first of all, I hire them from the right schools. I look at the schools and what the schools pour out in terms of students. And so obviously I didn't tell that, but I hire young people. I hire people that are in school or just come out of school because they have fresh ideas and they have a fresh look into design. So that's more important. That's
Awesome.
very important. And I look at the school and what the school produce. Sorry, it's not the right term. What they produce in terms
Yeah.
of students and of creatives. And I hire people who have a good portfolio. That's
Uh-huh.
so important. And I really hire designers before tech experts. So I go into schools that are into creating or training direct artistic directors, for example, or
Yeah.
graphic designers. I don't care if they've ever done web design. It doesn't matter. If they have a good eye, if a photographer has a good eye,
Uh-huh.
he can do a good photo, whatever the gear he has. Of course, if he
Uh-huh.
has good gear, he's going to make better photos. But that's the eye. That's the like the
Yeah.
composition of the design and the taste in design. That's something you can't teach someone, or at least I can't.
Mm.
But I can see what's good taste, and I can select the good people to do the right work. And so that's really been key because I never have to tell my employees, "Oh, are you sure about this design? It doesn't look really good."
Yeah.
I don't ever have to do that because they're even better than me, to be honest. In terms of design, they're they're so good.
Oh, that's
So
a
yeah.
really, really cool approach. I like that. So you're always hiring like design, art first, and
Yeah.
then you are willing to teach those technical skills if they need them. Brilliant. That's really innovative. Like
Hmm.
everything you do, you bring such an innovative approach. I love it. Hey, I want to jump into some of these reoccurring segments that we're doing with all of our guests. So the first thing
Yeah.
up is, can you show us your site? I know that you've shown us snippets of it already during this conversation, but have you got any cool little bits on there that you can show off?
Well, so yeah, I already touched on this a little bit. So here is the good ratio of the website. Um,
So important.
there's always a ratio when you share a screen and share a website with a customer. You want
Yeah.
to show the right ratio. Um, so we've used a little bit of we used quite a few plugins on our website. It's not just standard. We have a little video of our studio if
Oh,
people want to
cool.
watch this. There, just push on this button and there's a video pop up. We play on this design. I think it was based on a template from what's the name? Ghost plugins. I
Oh,
think it
yeah.
was Ghost plugins.
Awesome.
They had a template like this, so we based our whole design of our brand and of our website based on this. It's a few years ago already, but
Mm.
we've kept this, and so we have these little logo animations here. That's another plugin. So we present our services. Here we have many projects of our. We need to refresh them up. They've been here for a long time. We have so many more things to share. But these are some of the projects that we have done here,
Cool.
and also,
I
well,
love that
there's what we
portfolio
call the
layout. That's beautiful.
yeah, and then you can see each project, like for example, Walrus. You can see the project layout of this project and how. So that's a brand we created for
Beautiful.
the customer. We found
Mm.
the name, we created the logo, and they do wall panels with insulation. They have a very very impressive and innovative product because it's a product that does the design of the wall and also the insulation at the same time while
Oh,
being less than 5 centimeters thick. So let's
ooh,
say 2 inches for
so good.
the English community. So it's interesting, and so we present most of our work like this
Yeah.
in big sections, and so people can find some of our projects here. We also have the Wall of Love. It's a little
Hey,
bit
that's great.
of like the 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 customer reviews, and
Hmm.
obviously
Such an
Square Plus.
important thing to have on your website.
Oh yeah, 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 it is. It is. And then we also offer, that's something, I don't know if it's innovative or anything, but we wanted to help people. Well, there is a commission with Squarespace when you're a Squarespace Circle member.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
so here we invite people, if they want to let us create the subscription start of their
Yeah.
website. So they have 12 months of a training period of how do you call that?
Right, the free trial. All right.
The free trial. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, the free trial is longer, and also they have a little bit of a rebate on their
Mhm.
first year subscription, and we
Mhm.
get a commission when we do this. So we
Brilliant.
try to do this. It's a little bit of a thing, and then we show the templates, of course, uh, the Squarespace templates, the SquareKicker templates. They're all here on the
Oh,
templates page.
beautiful. They are so gorgeous. I love seeing them laid out like that. Very cool.
They we're keen on building some new ones now. We have some other ideas. So
That's absolutely brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. It's design confession time. Have you got a story for us of when something didn't go so well or like a mistake that you learned from? I know we all collect these things as
mhm.
we go along our business journey, but have you got one to share with us today?
So I thought about this when you sent me the layout for the conversation, and I don't have a specific time that I can recall, but I have something that I'd like to discuss, and I'm pretty sure that many many designers have probably the same problem that we do.
Mm,
It's sometimes we create websites, we send them out to the customers, and we are in love with design and the customer likes it. But when we come back to the website 6 months or a year later, it doesn't look quite the same. It's been
yeah.
changed drastically, and sometimes not in a good way. I don't want to be negative, but sometimes they haven't respected any of the design rules, and they've changed they haven't they've changed all the margins and everything, and
The logo
sometimes
is
so
like
it
10
have
times the size. Always the
yeah,
logo
yeah.
bigger, right?
And so sometimes when a prospect, so a prospective customer comes to me and say, "Have you done a website into this area?" I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, yeah, we'll go," and I'm going to share with you. And so I share the screen and I show the website, and I haven't looked at it before, and so the website is not the same at all since we've done it. It's changed so much. So that happens quite often, and of course, it can be a little bit frustrating to have this happen to the design that you've put
Yeah.
so much love into, but in the end it's the customer's business, so they do whatever they want. So you can't really do anything about this, except maybe offer them a subscription service to say, we could take care of
Let
the
us look
changes
after that
if
design for you. Yeah.
we could do that if you want. So yeah,
And if you're going to
that's
show
a
off a
little
website to a prospective customer, make sure you double check it
always. Oh
first.
yeah, yeah. That's a lesson learned. That's a lesson learned for sure.
Yes, it is a
Mm.
very good lesson. Finally, what do you do kind of off the grid to keep inspired or unplugged? I know you've given us so many tips of how you stay inspired when you're in front of your screen, but is there anything you do when you switch off that screen?
Yeah, I play music. And
Ooh.
so I play the guitar and I sing. And I have a little band here where so we don't aim to be any famous or anything. In fact, we are a I have a band which is called a tribute band
Mm-hmm.
to System of a Down. So it's a band that
Oh,
I like very much.
cool.
I like System of a Down very much. And so I play the guitar and I'm the main singer in that band. So we do some shows here around the towns that where we live, and it's so refreshing. We have this once a week rehearsal together where we play some of the songs. We met each other with the band members because we're all fans of System of a Down. So it's
Fun.
it's just so easy because we're playing songs that we all love. And for a band that doesn't really perform, well, they do perform a little bit, but they've split since a long time. You know, they've been splitted since I think 2008 or 2009, something like that.
Right.
So we're very happy to do that, and so the music in general really helps us to be inspired. There's always music here in the studio when
Yeah.
we work, background music, and
Nice.
that helps us to keep inspired. So not always metal music, I need to say. Sometimes it's more chill because the team here, they're not here yet, but they don't all listen to the same thing.
When you're
They don't
building
all
like a
listen to
beautiful
System.
wedding website and you're like System of the Down in the background.
No, yeah. So
Different
we
vibe.
might put some Agnès Obel, for example, when we do a wedding website. In fact,
Yeah.
actually, it's I need to mention that. So the type of music that you listen to really influences you
Mhm.
and in the design. And so if you're doing a very calm and quiet
Uh-huh.
website or an atmosphere, you have to listen to the music that goes with it. It helps with the creative process.
Yeah.
So
That makes
yeah,
sense, doesn't it? Kind of drawing all
Mhm.
those senses to make sure you're getting the right vibes into the website.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
very cool. I wish I had
Hmm.
known about your like guitar playing. I would have insisted on a live performance to end the podcast, but we will have
Yeah,
to settle for a wrap up. Thank you so much, Joseph. This
no
has been
problem.
such an amazing conversation, and I am 100% sure that anyone that has listened all the way through with us has picked up so many tips. So I really appreciate how much you've given today. There is just absolute gold in there, and I know I'm going to look forward to going back and listening to this and looking up all those websites you suggested for inspiration and gleaning out some more of those tips. So thank you so much. To everyone that has tuned in with us, make sure you come back for the next episode. We are continuing these conversations with more fabulous designers like Joseph that are shaping the way websites are built in Squarespace.
Thank you, Hannah. And thanks to all the viewers.
Thanks, Joseph.